Guys, I have no words. And not because the sun is starting to set in this beautiful Minecraft world that we're building, but because it's been almost 3 months since I posted episode 2. Now, I could sit here and ramble off a whole bunch of excuses about why I haven't uploaded, but I know that you don't want to hear that. So instead, what I'll do is tell you the good news. I'm back, and I still don't know how often I'll be able to upload, but what I do know is since I last uploaded, so much has changed. You might be able to tell just by the graphics of the game or by my hotbar, for example, but we are now in Minecraft 26.1.2. So not the most recent version, but I updated the game quite a bit and most of my mods are also installed to go along with that. But also, if you caught a sneak peek there on the right hand side, I've done some significant upgrading to my computer. A lot has changed in the last couple months, and if you guys are really interested in knowing everything that has happened, I'm happy to share it with you. But I think really what you guys have been waiting for is this episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. What is going on, YouTube? I probably don't know you, but you know me. It's Primitive Soul, and today we're continuing our progression in my Minecraft hardcore survival world. If you did catch last episode, then you know where we are. We are in the very depths of our world where we dug a staircase down to diamond level, which I haven't found any more diamonds in the meantime, but what we did find was just this beautiful geode located right next to a conveniently placed zombie spawner. And even better, just down this little back hallway here where the deep dark biome continues, we have a skeleton spawner. And today it's time to turn this into a double mob farm, XP farm, so that way when we do get some diamond tools and armor, which I would also like to do this episode, we can start enchanting. Before we get started doing any of that though, we have to go on a little bit of adventure to gather some resources. In a creative world, I did design at least a room layout for how I want this zombie spawner area to look, so that way we can see it from our enchanting area. But I need a lot of resources to do that. So there's going to be some adventure, some mining, some digging, and who knows what else in this episode. So if you're excited for that, then stay tuned because it's going to be a good one. So to kick off this project today, I wanted to start by digging out the foundations of these mob spawners. So for this design created by Voltrox, I'll put a link in the video description if you guys want to check out their tutorial for this. The foundation is a 9 by 9 by 5 block centered around the mob spawner. I've been using this design for several years and in countless worlds, and it's never failed me. I love it for early game because it doesn't require a lot of materials. Depending on where you spawn, of course, they might be hard to get, but we managed to get it done in this video, which you guys will see later. After I finished digging out the zombie spawner, I went straight into digging out the skeleton spawner, and I nearly died, as you'll see right here. I unveiled 2 skeletons with enchanted bows, and they got me down to just 1 heart, but I managed to survive. I really need to work on getting my shield out a lot faster, but as a reward for my survival, I just uncovered some diamonds, which is fantastic since I haven't been able to find any more since the last episode when we dug down to diamond level. But with that being said, I'm just going to mine out these last few blocks here, and I will see you guys in just a second. So it took about 10 minutes total to dig out both of these. And as I mentioned, I do have a plan for how I want this zombie mob spawner to look when we're all finished with it, but the plan I have in my head, you're not going to be able to see the skeleton spawner, so I'm not too concerned about what it looks like, which is why I just kind of filled in the walls with cobbled deep slate, and I left an opening above the spawner, and that will become clear why sooner rather than later. But you probably noticed that I found these diamonds while I was digging out the skeleton spawner here, and I only mined enough to make myself a diamond pick, which I don't actually have on me at the moment, and an enchantment table. The rest of these I'm going to wait until I get fortune, because why waste just a typical iron pickaxe to get 1 diamond when you can get fortune inevitably. So once we get the mob spawner up and running and get enough XP and enchantment, hopefully I'll get a fortune 3 enchantment, and then I can come back and get these diamonds. Now, the next step in order to build this double spawner XP farm is I have to do some resource gathering. And thinking about the plan in my head of what I want to do with this area, there are 3 big resources that I need to get to complete the zombie spawner, and that is moss, glass, so I can make tinted glass since we have this amethyst geode, conveniently located right here, and soul sand, of course, to make a bubble elevator. And those are just three of the bigger things amongst a long list of materials that I'm going to need, like stone, tuff. We'll need some kelp so I can actually make the bubble elevator, but I guess the next step, now that I have the foundations dug out, is to take off on an adventure to get those resources. So let's go. To begin this adventure, I wanted to head south to locate a lush cave biome that I spotted when spectating this world in creative mode. Just outside the house, I was immediately met by a group of pillagers. Don't worry, I remembered to use my shield this time so I can make quick work of them. Wandering south through our little tree farm, I found our very first beehive, which I knew would generate inevitably due to my trick of planting a flower so close to the trees themselves. Just south of our tree farm, I managed to kill a skeleton, and with 2 bones and a dream, I tried to get our very first pup, but was unsuccessful. So I guess we'll have to try and come back later. A bit down the mountainside, I located this azalea tree, which is just a surface marker for the lush cave biome that's down below. I got straight to work at clearing out the tree and then began following the rooted dirt trail down into the lush cave biome using a spiral staircase. I didn't know this, but rooted dirt has a different sound effect than normal dirt when you dig it, so I thought that was really interesting. With the placement of a torch, I dropped down into the lush cave biome where I was immediately greeted by a creeper and a zombie. But I was able to secure the area before finally getting a chance to collect a few bits of moss, some glowberries that I found, as well as the singular spore blossom. Before deciding to head back home, I thought I would grab a few stacks of these clay blocks since they're in such abundance down here in the caves. All right, now that we're back home safe and sound, we've secured the package of our moss block here. This is everything else that we found while we were down in the lush cave. It's time to get ready to go on the next adventure to find some sand to make tinted glass, and then saving the worst for last, going to the nether. To collect our sand, I headed east down our mountain, using a boat to quickly navigate the frozen landscape, especially on the waterways. Along the way, I stumbled across what I thought was an abandoned village, so I didn't want to stick around too long. However, I did come across this murderous cat, which I caught out of the corner of my eye in the act. And as I approached him, he took off, which gave me the opportunity to raid a few remaining crops and note down the coordinates of the village before continuing on our journey. Just around the corner, as I entered a non-frozen lake, we see some abandoned nether ruins, and as the river opened up into an ocean, we have a set of ocean ruins, and just past that is what we came for, the beach. Once I arrived at the beach, I hopped off the boat and dove into the water immediately to grab some kelp stalks before turning to the shore to say hello to the turtles and gather a few stacks of sand. And just like in any good romantic movie, minus the sand filling all of our pockets and crevices, it was time to boat off into the sunset. Oh, we made it. Looking a little sketchy there for a while. But we're home now. We've secured the sand and potatoes, which is excellent. Picked up a little bit extra sugar cane because it breaks when it's next to ice instead of water. We got our kelp. This is perfect. It's 2 down and 1 to go. Let's get ready to go to the nether. Alright, I think I have everything I need to venture into the nether. I got my flint and steel, some obsidian to actually make the portal, and then a golden helmet. Because if you didn't know, since some update that I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, there are mobs called piglins in the nether, and if you're not wearing a piece of gold, they will just attack you randomly. So we're taking this gold helmet that I got from killing a mob earlier in the series, because I currently don't have any gold to make any of my own armor. Thought I heard something. But there's this little cave right over here next to where our house is going to be that I'm going to put the portal in. And here comes a fully kitted zombie in copper. Let's just take care of him really quick. Holy crap. That could have been so bad. Man, I feel like the mobs have gotten more difficult to kill. Goodness. And why was there 3 skeletons right there? Isn't that unbelievable? Let's light this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and just put our portal right here. This kind of looks like there should be something here. So let's just dig this out. There we go. And we'll light this up. Put on our gold helmet. And we're off. Okay. Oh my goodness. What a joke, dude. Oh my. This is not going well. This is not going well. I'm just glad I was recording when I came in here because that could have been really bad. I was trying to get return to sender right off the rip. Good man. Oh, well, I guess we'll just continue on this way. Wow. I want to mess up the warped nylium. Just grab some glowstone. I'm actually going to need some of this for our XP build that we're working on. So our objective here is to find some soul sand, and that's typically found near the lava. There's some over there, but that's not very helpful. Let's just keep working our way down here, trying to find a way to get down to the ground. Block our... Oh, well, that didn't really work. Let's eat a little bit. Man, no way, dude. A bastion right here? We're so close to a bastion. Obviously, we're nowhere near geared up to tackle that, but at least we know it's here now. See what else we got down here. I don't see any. There's some soul sand. It's over here. Basalt. Holy cow, look at all this soul sand. Let's go. Oh. No way! No way! Another fortress right there. And the bastion right there. A ruined nether portal. Oh my gosh. Guys. This is probably one of the best nether spawns I've ever had, even though that ghast nearly killed us as soon as we spawned in here, but this is amazing. Let's grab, I don't know, just a half a stack of this stuff. We only really need a couple pieces. Moral of the story is we got what we need. So let's get out of here because we have plans to finish before the episode's over, and they do not involve being here. So let me work my way back up to the portal, and I will see you guys in a bit. The moment you've waited for has finally arrived. When I returned from the nether, I went straight to work at collecting the remaining materials needed to build this XP farm, the first of which being more moss blocks. The material list that you see in the bottom right hand corner is from Lightmatica, which is just the mod I'll be using to upload my creative build into this world so I can copy it for you guys. Next, I needed to actually collect some amethyst shards to combine with our glass and make tinted glass. Tinted glass is perfect for XP farms like this because it allows you to light up the outside of the farm without affecting the spawn rates because tinted glass is not a transparent block, so light doesn't permeate through it. All right, now that we have the moss, the glass for the tinted glass, and the soul sand out of the way, I have saved you the trouble of collecting the rest of the resources that we're going to need to build this, and I just conveniently put them in this chest here. and you might be able to maybe get an idea of what we're going for based on the ingredients in this mixture, but I say we waited long enough, so let's get started on this. Before I could begin placing any blocks, I first had to clear away another layer from each surface to make way for our new custom blocks. With the space completely cleared out, I was finally able to start placing in our custom blocks. I first started with the floor to give myself a good working space to walk around in, and then I worked my way up the walls, including our stripped spruce pillars and our tinted glass. With the walls finished up and the floor filled in below me, I was able to easily place in the last few blocks of the ceiling before adding in a small Easter egg. I wrote the episode number and the date of the farm on this sign that will inevitably be used to hold back water for our water elevator. And as a final detail, to take advantage of the redstone lamp I installed above the spawner, I'll be using this redstone line to control the light level inside the farm, essentially acting as an on and off switch. There we have it. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the build. Is this anything like what you pictured it would be based on the materials that I had in the chest beforehand? I'd be really curious to see what you guys thought. Let's just step inside here for a moment. So my goal with this was to try and bring the lush cave environment into this area, especially with the geode right here. I just love the way the moss and the mossy cobble and even like the andesite and tuff look when they're surrounding the geode like this. Unfortunately, I do need to break one of these because that once it grows will emit light and ruin the effectiveness of the spawn rates. And that's why I have this redstone lamp here, which you can see for right now I have temporarily connected to this lever here. That's not the final spot for that, but anyway, here's the finished build. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but the next step is to actually get the skeleton farm prepped for final operation, and I need to clear out a bunch of this so I can actually find the drop zone and get that sort of measured out. Anyway, I still have a lot of work cut out for me, so I'm going to get started on doing all that, and hopefully the next time you guys see me, I will have a farm for you guys to check out. So I'll see you guys in a second. In order to create the water elevator I previously mentioned, I first needed to identify where I wanted the mobs to fall. The mobs need to fall a total of 23 blocks to experience maximum fall damage without dying. With that point determined, I began the upward climb to the required height for my layout. I came across this small cave along the way, which I'm choosing not to light up right now, but we will need to return later as I don't want the mobs to spawn anywhere other than in the spawning area. I repeated this same process for the skeleton spawner. With both water elevators in place, I took advantage of signs and Minecraft water mechanics to direct the water in such a way that both mobs would line up and fall in the same place. In this way, I'm able to collect loot easily from both the skeletons and the zombies. I don't know that I would actually consider this an engineering project, but as an engineer, I can say I'm extremely proud I was able to make this work. It's not very often that you come across two spawners close enough that you can combine them like we have here. This is actually the first time I've turned the farm on, which is amazing that it works. And you can see that the spawn rates aren't that great, which is why I sped up the footage. But as we light up the surrounding caves, they'll drastically improve. And even with taking maximum fall damage, you can see they're not always a one-hit kill without a weapon, but they're no match for my iron sword. And once we get looting 3 on a diamond or even netherite sword, it'll only be more lucrative. What's looting 3, you ask? Oh, it's just an enchantment, and I think it's about time that we get started on doing that. Okay, with a source of XP secured, I think it's time we set up an enchanting area, or do our best to. Oh, here's those 2 golden apples I told you about in the last episode that were in the spawners with the zombies and the skeletons. I just brought them up here, set them in this barrel over here. But we need leather, and it looks like we have enough to make 64 books, which is perfect because we only need 45. Grab 3 stacks of sugarcane. If you didn't know, you need 15 bookshelves to make a level 30 enchantment, which means you need 45 books, and 15 times 6 is 90 planks, 90 divided by 4 is some number. There's 40. It's just 21 bookshelves, but like I said, we only need 15. And we'll save the extra books to actually use for enchanting. Plus, we need at least one book to make the enchanting table. That should give us level 30. Let's see. Bada bing, bada boom. Ooh, Fortune 2 off the bat. Not exactly what we're looking for. About a book. Unbreaking 3, that could be good. Let's go ahead and set down. I brought down a chest so we can store in our enchanting materials as well as a grindstone. I made a grindstone before I came down to, just in case we get an enchantment that we don't want. I don't like to waste tools, as you can imagine. So if we were to enchant something that we didn't like, instead of crafting a new tool, I'll just remove the enchantment and try again. So you guys are about to witness the first enchantment, which I really wish it was not a Fortune 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and enchant this book to give us an Unbreaking 3 book to start. Not very exciting. Silk Touch. Now normally I would go for this enchantment, but seeing as how we're very low on diamonds, I would like to get a Fortune 3 enchantment first on a pick and then go for Silk Touch. So I'm actually going to pass right now on the Silk Touch in hopes of getting a Fortune 3 book, and it doesn't look like we're going to get that at the moment. Infinity would be good. Just take this level 1 book for the moment. A Silk Touch again. Wow. Unbelievable. Just take some low level enchantments here. Efficiency 4. You know, that actually could be a good one. Sometimes I like to take a risk, and you might get lucky with getting Fortune 3 or Silk Touch or something. Hopefully at least Unbreaking 3 to give us a work pick. Let me just unenchant these books really quick. But at least now I have an excuse to come up here and demonstrate again how this farm works to get some more experience. So we'll just turn the lights off. And the reason I put the enchantment setup down at level 59 in the diamond mine, if you will, is because I don't quite have the rest of this room laid out just yet. Let me get back up to level 30 and go through some more enchantments, and if I get anything interesting along the way, I will let you guys know. Since I wasn't sure how long this process was going to take, spoiler alert, it didn't take that long. I thought I'd spare you guys excessive mob death sounds, as it can get quite annoying, and just take the time to show you the results of enchanting my pickaxes. I didn't have too much luck in the beginning, as the first 3 tries didn't pan out in my favor, but by the 4th try I managed to get the perfect Silk Touch pickaxe, coming equipped with Unbreaking 3 and Efficiency 4. That was just a deal that I couldn't pass up. So I decided to mine a few of the other diamonds that I had laying around in effort to get my diamond pickaxe that had Fortune 3 on it. This could be the final enchantment. Let's see what we get. Come on, Fortune 3, Unbreaking 3, and Efficiency 4. What? No, there's no way, dude. Holy crap. Let's go, man. 2 perfect picks off the rip, 1 lapis to spare. What a better way to celebrate a successful enchanting session than by mining some diamonds. So while I run around and collect these handful of diamond blocks that I had previously exposed, I just wanted to give you a recap of how that enchanting session went. So in less than 18 minutes, I enchanted a pickaxe a total of 5 times and books 6 different times to cycle through the enchantments to get the enchantments that we are looking for. But with this Fortune 3 pickaxe in hand, let's bind these diamonds so we can figure out what to do next. So we have 12 diamonds. What do you guys think we should do with these? Personally, I think finishing out a full set of diamond tools would be the best use for these, as we just created iron armor in the last episode, and it has quite a bit of durability left, so I don't think it would be a good use to make some diamond armor right now, but I think making tools would be really nice, because I want to come through and light up those caves at some point, like I said, that surround this spawner, and having a hoe to plow through all of this skulk would be really useful. So let me know what you guys think, but I'm leaning towards a full set of diamond tools, and I will probably try and enchant those as well. Otherwise, I think I've decided the next thing I want to do, in the spirit of not starting projects and leaving them unfinished, I want to finish this entire spawn room. As I've mentioned numerous times, I have a vision in my head for what I want this room to look like, and now that we have some proper tools to do the job, I think it's time we go right ahead and do that. So in between episodes, I'm going to dig out this space so you guys can have a true idea of what my vision is, and a majority of the next episode we will probably spend gathering resources and maybe talking about a few things regarding how the channel is going to be changing. In completing this video, I've realized I've kind of gotten away from the idea I had for this channel originally, so I want to get back on track with how I originally intended this channel to be. So if you guys are excited for that, then stick around, and we will see you guys next time. Till then, this is Primitive Soul, signing off.